first deck on my list is of course Tenpai. In this format you'll need a lot of one-card starters, and a lot of hand traps, and this deck can fit both. This is the best going second deck of all time, and many decks in this format are just built to counter Tenpai. And not only does it have like 15 hand traps, but it also has a lot of board breakers. And the best part is that your monsters will be unaffected in the main phase while you summon Transcendent, and then when you enter the battle phase, they can't activate anything thanks to Transcendent, giving you complete immunity in the main phase and battle phase while you OTK by dealing over 30,000 damage. Next we have Yubel, the deck which makes one of the best turn 1 end boards in the game, consistently ending on 8+ disruptions. And not only that, the engine is relatively small so the deck can easily fit 9 to 12 hand traps without losing consistency. And if you go second, you also have consistent ways to OTK by reflecting damage like Mekanko, by attacking into your opponent's monsters with higher attack and dealing the damage to them instead. And if this deck wasn't already good enough, it also counters Tenpai in two ways. One is it plays Nightmare Pain. Tenpai can't win if that card remains face up on the field. And other than that, it also plays Phantom of Yubel, which is able to negate Tenpai monsters even under the protection of their field spell, making Yubel one of the best decks for this format, and one of the best counters to Tenpai. And of course next we have Snake Eyes Fire King. This deck has been meta for so long it's unbelievable. You're seeing me now do one of the best combos in the game, ending on 11 disruptions plus guaranteed follow-up. What makes this deck unique is that most of its starters also act as extenders, so if they negate your starter, follow-up Bonfire, they negate that, and you follow up with Diabelster. And if that gets negated then you can also activate Field Spell to continue playing. Not only that, Snake Eyes Fire King is home to the extremely consistent Atlantis OTK, where a few monsters on your field turns into Destroy 4 and deal over 8,000 damage, making this deck one of the best this format. We also have Voiceless Voice. Some may not agree, but this deck has like 12 to 15 starters, and also plays more than 15 hand traps. This will be the main reason you'll see Voiceless Voice a lot in the top 100 for this Duelist Cup. This deck usually ends on a modest end board of 2 to 3 disruptions, and then you factor in that you usually always have 2 to 3 hand traps in hand. And you'll start to see why this deck is this good. And if they fail to break your board, they'll have to start all over again next turn, since you can easily recycle your 3 disruptions every turn. So they either OTK you turn 2 or they lose. And of course, this deck also countered Tenpai by summoning Meteor Burst Dragon with Pendulum Graph Dragon. All this makes Voiceless Voice a solid contender for first place for this Duelist Cup. Continuing with the theme of many starters and hand traps, next we have Centurion. This deck feels extremely similar to Voiceless Voice to me. You generally end on 2 to 3 disruptions, and then you'll always have 2 to 3 hand traps in hand alongside some bestials. And it's also the same in which if they don't OTK you, all your Cosmic Blazer Dragons come back in the end phase, so they'll have to do it all over again. This particular playstyle of Centurion and the resilience and advantage generating nature of bestials makes this deck incredibly frustrating to play against if you don't defeat them quickly. Also, the coolest feature of this deck is being able to cheat out level 12 synchro monsters, which that monster's own archetype sometimes struggles to summon it, whereas Centurion just easily summons it with Crimson Dragon. And maybe a surprise inclusion, but next we have Mathmech. It also fits the same theme of playing almost 12 starters, and also about 12 hand traps. It also has incredibly easy OTK lines with either Access Go Talker or with Terahertz, as you'll see. And also, it's an amazing counter to Tenpai thanks to Terahertz, which negates all effects in the battle phase, so Tenpai can't play the game, even if they have Transcendent out, which won't negate your Terahertz. This deck also has a searchable Kaiju, an easy 2-card full recovery combo, and it's one of few decks on this list to actually have an Omni negate out so it doesn't lose to board breakers. So also expect to see this deck quite a bit this event. And finally, we have Ritual Beast. This deck doesn't play that many hand traps, and doesn't do that well under Max C, but what it does have is the best counter to Tenpai. So if Tenpai make you go first, you search Protoss and call fire, and you win. Or if you don't know what you're playing against, you make Colossus. And just like that they can't search, which wins you the game most of the times, and above the floodgates. Ritual Beats can also set up an amazing field consisting of Omni Negates, destroying, and banishing cards, and it's also resilient against hand traps since most of their cards have no kind of hard once per turn on them, making this deck one of the best for this event. Subscribe if this video helped. Here's my deck list. Thanks for watching. Make sure to also join my Discord to chat with a like-minded community.